The penthouse overlooked Manhattan, like a throne room surveying its kingdom. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city's glittering skyline. The furniture was museum quality. The art on the walls was worth more than most people's homes. Robert Chen, 52, sat in his home office, surrounded by 6 computer monitors displaying stock tickers, financial reports, and video conferences. His phone buzzed constantly. His empire, Chen Global Industries, was worth $8.4 billion, spanning tech, real estate, and manufacturing across 3 continents. He was in the middle of negotiating a $600 million acquisition when his assistant, Maria, knocked softly on the door. "Not now," Robert said without looking up. "Mr. Chen, it's about Ethan. Tell the nurse I'll check on him during my lunch break." His eyes never left the screens. "Sir, Ethan's physical therapist says he's been trying to—" "Maria, I'm in the middle of something that will determine whether 3,000 people keep their jobs. Whatever it is can wait." His voice was sharp, final. Maria hesitated, then quietly left. Robert didn't notice the way her shoulders slumped. He didn't notice a lot of things anymore. Down the hall, in a bedroom that had been converted into a state-of-the-art medical suite, 8-year-old Ethan Chen sat in his wheelchair, staring out the window at the city below. He'd been paralyzed from the waist down for 5 years since the car accident that had also killed his mother, Lisa. The same accident that had fractured his spine and stolen his ability to walk. The same accident that had stolen his voice. The trauma of watching his mother die, of being trapped in the twisted metal for 2 hours before rescue came, had left Ethan with selective mutism. He physically could speak. Doctors had confirmed there was no damage to his vocal cords or brain. But he didn't. Hadn't said a single word in 5 years. His room was filled with everything money could buy. The latest gaming systems, every toy imaginable. A virtual reality setup worth $50,000. Shelves of books he never read, everything except what he really wanted. His nurse, Patricia, 45, was the closest thing to family he had now. She'd been with him since the accident. She knew his expressions, his sign language, his silence. "Your dad's busy again," Patricia said gently, not as a criticism, but as a fact they both understood. She wheeled Ethan to his therapy area. "But we've got our session with Dr. Mike, and then I thought we could paint. How does that sound?" Ethan's slight nod was the only response. Over the following weeks, the pattern continued. Robert worked 18-hour days. He attended board meetings, closed deals, traveled to London, Tokyo, Dubai. He provided everything for Ethan, the best doctors, therapists, equipment, education, a full medical staff, anything money could buy, everything except time. Dr. Michael Torres, Ethan's physical therapist, tried to update Robert on Ethan's progress. "Mr. Chen, Ethan's been making remarkable improvements. His upper body strength has increased significantly, and I think with the new therapy, that's excellent. Bill me for whatever equipment you need." Robert signed a document without looking up. "Actually, sir, what Ethan needs most isn't equipment. It's, Dr. Torres, I'm paying you $500 an hour. If you need more resources, say so. If not, I have another call in 3 minutes." Dr. Torres left, frustrated but not surprised. Patricia tried too. "Mr. Chen, tomorrow is Ethan's 8th birthday. I was thinking perhaps you could—" "I've already arranged for a party. Hire whatever entertainment he wants. Magicians, superheroes, whatever kids like these days. Budget is unlimited." "He doesn't want a party, sir. He wants—" "Maria, what time is my flight to Singapore?" Patricia watched Robert rush past Ethan's room without even glancing inside. She found Ethan by the window, as usual, watching the people on the streets below. People walking, running, living. She didn't say anything. What was there to say? They both knew. Ethan's 8th birthday party was spectacular. The penthouse was transformed into a carnival. Professional performers, a celebrity magician, a petting zoo somehow transported to the 80th floor. A cake that cost $10,000. 30 children attended, classmates from the private tutor sessions, children of Robert's business associates. They played and laughed and ate and received elaborate gift bags worth $500 each. Ethan sat in his wheelchair, Patricia by his side, watching it all with empty eyes. He signed to Patricia. "Where is Dad?" Patricia checked her phone, her heart sinking. He had an emergency meeting in Singapore, but he sent you this." She handed Ethan an envelope. Inside was a card, clearly selected by Maria, and a check for $100,000 for Ethan's trust fund. Ethan looked at the check, then at the party happening around him. Then he wheeled himself to his room, away from the noise and the strangers and the expensive emptiness of it all. Patricia found him an hour later, sitting in the dark, silent tears running down his face. She held him while he cried without sound, and her own heart broke for the 1,000th time. 3 months later, Robert was preparing for the biggest deal of his career. A merger with a European conglomerate that would make him one of the 20 richest people in the world. The negotiations were brutal, complex, spanning multiple time zones and legal jurisdictions. He'd been home for maybe 20 hours total in the past 3 weeks. It was 2 a.m. when he finally returned to the penthouse, exhausted. He was headed straight to bed when he passed Ethan's room and noticed the light was on. Something made him stop. Guilt, maybe, or just exhaustion, breaking through his usual defenses. He pushed the door open quietly. Ethan was awake, sitting in his wheelchair by the window, as always. Patricia had fallen asleep in the chair beside him, and open book in her lap. Robert approached silently, not wanting to wake either of them. He stood behind Ethan's wheelchair, looking at what his son was looking at. The city, always the city, the people moving through their lives below. "What do you see out there?" Robert whispered, not expecting an answer. He never did anymore. Ethan's hand moved slightly. He was holding something. Robert looked closer. It was a photograph, worn, creased from being held so many times. The edges were soft. Robert's heart stopped when he recognized it. It was from before the accident, before everything changed. A simple photo taken at a park. Lisa was laughing, her hair catching the sunlight. Ethan, 3 years old, whole, happy, was on Robert's shoulders. His arms spread wide like he was flying. Robert was looking up at his son with pure joy. They were at a public park, not some exclusive resort or private estate, just a regular park with regular people. They'd packed sandwiches. Lisa had brought a blanket. Ethan had chased pigeons. Robert had pushed him on the swings for an hour. Robert remembered that day. It was right before his company went public, before the billions, before the empire, when they were just a family who was happy with simple things. "You kept this," Robert's voice cracked. Ethan didn't move, didn't respond. Robert slowly walked around the wheelchair to face his son. In the dim light, he really looked at Ethan for the first time in months, really saw him. The boy was thin, too thin. His eyes were hollow, old in a way that 8-year-old eyes should never be. He looked like he'd given up on something fundamental. "I'm sorry," Robert whispered. "I'm so sorry. I thought if I could build something big enough, make enough money, I could somehow fix everything. Fix what happened, fix you, fix the fact that your mother is gone." Ethan's eyes flickered to his father's face, real eye contact, the first in so long. "But I can't fix it, can I?" Robert's voice broke. "All the money in the world can't bring her back. Can't undo the accident. Can't." He fell to his knees beside the wheelchair. "I've been so busy trying to build an empire that I forgot I already had a kingdom. Right here, you." A tear rolled down Ethan's cheek. Robert reached out slowly, carefully, and took his son's hand. "I know you can't talk. I know the accident took that from you. But I need you to know something. I love you. I've always loved you. I forgot how to show it. I forgot that love isn't about what you can buy. It's about being present." Ethan's hand squeezed his father's, weak but deliberate. They sat like that, father and son, in the quiet dark, for the first time in years truly together. The next morning, Robert did something unprecedented. He canceled his meetings, all of them. "Sir, the European merger," Maria started. "They can wait. But Mr. Chen, if you don't, they can wait." Robert's voice was calm but absolute. "Clear my schedule for the week. Actually, clear it for the month. I'm taking time off." Maria stared at him like he'd announced he was joining a monastery. Robert spent the day with Ethan, just sitting with him. Patricia showed him Ethan's daily routine, the exercises, the therapy, the small victories, and constant struggles. "He's been working so hard," Patricia explained. "His upper body strength is incredible. Dr. Torres thinks he might be able to use arm-powered mobility devices eventually, maybe even compete in wheelchair sports if he wanted. He's been doing all this progress?" Robert felt shame wash over him. "Every day. He never gives up, Mr. Chen. Even when it's hard, even when it hurts." She paused. "He gets his determination from you." That afternoon, Robert read to Ethan, just sat beside his wheelchair and read. A story about a wizard and an adventure and a boy who discovered he was braver than he knew. He couldn't remember the last time he'd read to his son. Ethan listened, his eyes on his father's face the entire time. That evening, Robert had dinner brought to Ethan's room, not catered, but simple food from a regular restaurant. They ate together, just the two of them. Robert told stories about Lisa, about when they'd met, about how excited she'd been when Ethan was born. "She used to sing to you every night," Robert said softly. "This old lullaby her grandmother taught her. I can't remember all the words, but..." He hummed a few bars, off-key and rusty. Ethan's eyes widened. Recognition, memory. Days passed. Robert continued to clear his schedule. He attended Ethan's therapy sessions. He learned the sign language that Ethan used to communicate. He discovered his son loved painting, creating these incredible, abstract pieces that expressed everything his voice couldn't. He met with Dr. Torres, really listened this time. What does Ethan need? Not what can I buy, what does he actually need? Dr. Torres considered carefully. Honestly, Mr. Chen, what he's needed all along. You, your presence, your attention. Kids who've experienced trauma need to feel safe, connected, valued. All the therapy in the world can't replace a parent's love. 2 weeks into Robert's sabbatical, they were in the art room. Robert was attempting to paint badly, while Ethan worked on a canvas beside him. Classical music played softly. It was peaceful. Robert was telling a story about Lisa. Your mom once tried to surprise me by cooking this elaborate French meal. She'd never cooked French food before in her life. She followed some YouTube tutorial and, he laughed, she somehow managed to set off the smoke alarm 3 times. The firefighters came. She was so embarrassed. But you know what? We ordered pizza and ate it sitting on the floor, surrounded by smoke. And it was one of the best nights of my life, because we were together and laughing. He paused, overwhelmed by the memory. She would be so proud of you, Ethan, so proud of how strong you are, how brave. Ethan had stopped painting. His hand trembled slightly. Robert noticed. Ethan, are you okay? Ethan's mouth opened, closed, opened again. His face was intense with concentration, with effort, with something desperately trying to break free. Patricia, who'd been organizing supplies nearby, froze. Then, like a dam finally breaking after 5 years of holding back an ocean, Ethan spoke. His voice was rusty, weak, barely above a whisper. But it was a voice, his voice. Robert's paintbrush clattered to the floor. Ethan. Tears streamed down Ethan's face. Daddy! Robert couldn't breathe, couldn't move. 5 years of silence. And now, Daddy. Ethan's voice was stronger now, clearer, and then, I want... Anything. Robert was crying now, on his knees beside the wheelchair. Anything in the world, name it, anything. Ethan looked at his father with those old, sad eyes. And what he said next changed everything. I want to go to the park? Robert stared at his son, certain he'd misheard. The park? Ethan nodded, words coming faster now, like a river finding its path. The park, from the picture, with the swings, and the pigeons, and the sandwiches. His voice broke. With you, just us, like before, like with Mommy. Patricia was sobbing quietly in the corner. Robert felt like he'd been punched in the chest. 5 years, 5 years of silence, 5 years of his son unable or unwilling to speak. And his first words, the first thing he asked for, after breaking through that massive wall of trauma and loss, wasn't for toys or games or anything money could buy. He wanted to go to a park with his father, to do something simple, something that cost nothing, something that was about presence, not presence. The park, Robert repeated, his voice shattered. You want to go to the park? With you? No nurses, no assistants. Just you and me. Can we, please? Robert pulled his son into his arms, wheelchair and all, and held him like he should have been holding him for 5 years. Yes, we can. We'll go tomorrow. We'll go every day if you want, whatever you want. Ethan's thin arms wrapped around his father's neck. And then the dam really broke. 5 years of held-back tears, words, emotions, everything came pouring out. I miss her, Ethan sobbed. I miss Mommy so much. And I missed you. You were here, but you weren't here. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't. The words, they were stuck. Everything was stuck. I know, baby, I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wanted my dad. That's all. Just my dad. Robert's heart shattered into a million pieces. His brilliant, broken, brave boy, who'd endured unspeakable trauma, who'd lost his mother, his ability to walk, 5 years of his childhood, who had every material thing in the world, and all he wanted was his father's time, the simplest, most fundamental thing, and Robert had withheld it. That night, after Ethan finally fell asleep, exhausted from the emotional breakthrough, Robert sat alone in his office, staring at his empire. 6 monitors, billion-dollar deals, global corporations. He'd built all of this thinking he was providing for his son, thinking he was being a good father by securing Ethan's financial future. But Ethan didn't need another $1 billion. He needed a father. Robert opened his laptop and started typing, email after email, call after call. By morning, his senior team was assembled in an emergency video conference, all of them looking confused and concerned. "Thank you all for joining on short notice," Robert began. "I'm calling to inform you of some changes. Effective immediately, I'm stepping down as CEO of Chen Global Industries." Shocked silence. "Furthermore, I'm selling my majority stake in the company. I'll maintain enough shares to remain comfortable, but I'm liquidating my primary holdings. The proceeds will be divided among 3 parties. First, to establish the Lisa Chen Foundation for trauma recovery and support for families of accident victims. Second, to create an endowment for pediatric spinal injury research. Third, to fund a network of accessible parks and recreational facilities for children with disabilities." "Robert," his CFO stammered, "you're talking about selling. That's billions of dollars. That's your entire life's work." "No," Robert said firmly. "My life's work is sleeping down the hall in a wheelchair. And I've been neglecting him. I've been so busy building a financial empire that I forgot I already had everything that mattered. I'm not making that mistake anymore. But the European merger will proceed without me. You're all brilliant. You don't need me micromanaging from above. Promote Jennifer to CEO. She's been running operations better than I have for years anyway." Over the following weeks, Robert did exactly what he'd said. He sold, he liquidated, he stepped back. His board thought he'd lost his mind. Financial reporters speculated about health issues or scandals. Forbes ran an article. "Billionaire's mysterious exit. Is Robert Chen walking away from an empire?" Robert didn't care about any of it. Saturday morning. Robert dressed in jeans and a simple t-shirt clothes he'd forgotten he owned. He made sandwiches himself, clumsily, the way Lisa used to. He packed juice boxes and fruit. Patricia helped get Ethan ready. The boy hadn't stopped talking since his breakthrough 5 years of words coming out in a joyful flood. He talked about his paintings, his dreams, his memories of his mother, everything. "Ready?" Robert asked. Ethan's smile was like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. "Ready." They went to Riverside Park, the same park from the photograph. Robert pushed Ethan's wheelchair along the paths. They found a spot under a gay tree, spread out a blanket. No assistance, no security detail, though Robert had hired discreet protection who stayed far back. No photographers, just a father and son. They ate sandwiches. They were messy, imperfect. The bread was too thick. Robert had forgotten napkins. They were the best sandwiches Ethan had ever tasted. "Tell me about Mom," Ethan said. "Tell me everything. I'm forgetting some things." Her voice, the way she laughed, I don't want to forget." So Robert talked. For hours, he told stories. He described Lisa in detail, her terrible singing voice, her infectious laugh, her fierce love for their son. He told Ethan things he'd never told anyone about the early days of their marriage, about the day Ethan was born, about the ordinary, beautiful moments that had made up their life together. "She would sit with you for hours," Robert remembered, "just watching you sleep. I'd tell her to come to bed, and she'd say, "Just 5 more minutes. I want to memorize his face." Like you might change overnight and she'd miss it. Ethan was crying but smiling. I wish I could remember more." "Then we'll talk about her every day. We'll keep her alive through stories, through memories. She's part of you, Ethan. She's in your kindness, your creativity, your strength. She's always with you." They watched people in the park, families playing, dogs running, kids on swings, life happening all around them. "Dad," Ethan said quietly. "Yeah, buddy. Thank you for being here, for seeing me." Robert had to look away, overcome. "I should have been here all along. I'm sorry it took me so long. You're here now. That's what matters." Robert's life looked completely different. He lived in a modest but comfortable house in the suburbs with wheelchair accessibility throughout. No penthouse, no staff of 30, just him, Ethan, and Patricia, who'd become like family. The house had a yard. Ethan painted in a studio that used to be a garage. Robert had converted it himself, learning carpentry from YouTube videos, making mistakes, trying again. Robert volunteered at Ethan's school 3 days a week. He coached wheelchair basketball. He was terrible at it, but the kids loved him. He attended every therapy session, every doctor's appointment, every small victory. The Lisa Chen Foundation was thriving, helping hundreds of families navigate the aftermath of traumatic accidents. The parks they'd funded were opening across the country, fully accessible, designed with input from kids with disabilities. Robert's net worth had dropped from $8.4 billion to around $50 million. He'd gone from one of the richest men in America to merely wealthy. He'd never been happier. One evening, as they sat on their back porch watching fireflies, Ethan turned to his father. His speech was fluid now, confident, making up for lost time. "Dad, do you ever regret it, selling everything?" Robert looked at his son, healthy, laughing, thriving, growing into the person he was meant to be. "Not even for a second. You know what I learned? I spent years thinking I needed to build an empire to give you security, to protect you from the world. But what you needed wasn't protection, it was presence, not a fortress, a father. Do you miss it? The company? The deals?" Robert considered honestly. "Sometimes I miss the excitement, the challenge. But then I remember I used to miss your childhood while I was living it. I missed your 7th birthday, your 6th, part of your 5th. I missed years, Ethan, years I can never get back. No amount of money is worth that." Ethan was quiet for a moment, then, "I'm proud of you, Dad." Robert's throat tightened. "You're proud of me?" "Yeah, it's harder to walk away from something than to keep doing it. You could have stayed, you could have kept being a billionaire, but you chose me. That's brave." Dr. Torres had been working with Ethan since the beginning. Watching his breakthrough, his progress, had been the highlight of his career. "How are you doing, Ethan?" he asked during a session. "Good, really good." Ethan was doing arm exercises, his thin muscles growing stronger every week. "Dad and I are building a treehouse. Well, he's building it. I'm supervising." He grinned. "He's not very good at it." Dr. Torres laughed. "And how does that feel?" "Perfect. It's perfect because he's there. He's trying. That matters more than getting it right." "You know," Dr. Torres said carefully, "when you first came to me, you weren't speaking. You barely engaged. Now look at you. You're thriving. What changed?" Ethan thought about it. I think I was stuck. Not just my legs, everything. I was stuck in the accident, in losing Mom, in being alone even when people were around. I couldn't move forward because I was holding on to all this hurt. And now I'm still sad sometimes. I still miss Mom. I'll probably always miss her, and I'll probably never walk again. I'm okay with that now, but I'm not stuck anymore. Because Dad came back, he saw me, really saw me. And that let me come back too. Ethan's 9th birthday was different from his 8th. No elaborate party, no strangers, no $10,000 cake. Just Robert, Patricia, Dr. Torres, and a few of Ethan's real friends from school. They had pizza, they played games, they laughed. But Robert had a surprise. "Ethan, can you come outside for a minute?" In the backyard sat something covered with a tarp. Ethan wheeled over, curious. Robert pulled off the tarp. It was an adaptive hand cycle, a kind of specialized bicycle that could be powered by arms instead of legs. But it wasn't just any hand cycle. This one was custom made, painted with designs Ethan had created, with special modifications that Dr. Torres had recommended. "It's for racing," Robert explained. "Dr. Torres thinks you're strong enough now. There are competitions, teams, whole communities of adaptive athletes. I thought, if you wanted, we could train together. I could run beside you." Ethan stared at it, speechless. "You don't have to," Robert added quickly. "If you don't want to," Ethan launched himself from his wheelchair into his father's arms. I want to so much." They spent the rest of the afternoon learning how the hand cycle worked. Ethan was wobbly at first, but determined. Robert jogged beside him, encouraging, celebrating every small success. Patricia took photos, real, candid, joy-filled photos. The kind that would go in albums, the kind that mattered. That night, as Robert tucked Ethan into bed, his son looked up at him seriously. "Dad, can I tell you something?" "Anything." "That day, when I finally talked, when I asked to go to the park, I was so scared you'd say no, that you'd say you were too busy, that you'd offer to send Patricia or hire someone to take me. I was scared that even talking wouldn't be enough to get you back." Robert's heart clenched. "Oh, Ethan, but you didn't. You said yes. You've said yes every day since then. You chose me, and that's the best gift you've ever given me. Not the hand cycle, not the house, not any of it. Just you, choosing me every day." Robert held his son close. "And I'll keep choosing you every single day, I promise." 12-year-old Ethan Chen crossed the finish line of the National Junior Adaptive Athletics Championship in first place. His arms burned, his heart pounded, but his smile was incandescent. Robert was right there, running beside him the whole way, just like he'd promised. He'd run every race, every training session, every early morning practice. After the medals ceremony, a reporter approached them. "Mr. Chen, you used to be one of the richest men in America. You sold an empire. Some people called you crazy. Any regrets?" Robert looked at his son, strong, confident, thriving, holding his gold medal. "I used to think success meant building something massive, something the world would remember, but I was wrong." He put his hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Success is right here. It's watching my son become the person he's meant to be. It's being present for the moments that matter. I didn't lose anything when I sold my company. I gained everything." The reporter persisted. "But you lost billions." "I lost money. I gained my son." Robert's voice was firm. "If you can't understand the difference, I feel sorry for you." Ethan squeezed his father's hand. They walked away from the cameras, from the questions, from the noise. Just a father and son, together, exactly where they were supposed to be. That night, in their modest home, Ethan hung his medal on the wall. Next to it was the old photograph, the one from the park, before the accident. The one he'd held on to through 5 years of silence. "We should take a new picture," Robert suggested. "Same park, same spot, new memories." "Yeah," Ethan agreed. "But this time, let's bring a better camera. Your phone camera is terrible." Robert laughed, ruffling his son's hair. "Deal." As Ethan got ready for bed, Robert sat in the living room, looking at the life they'd built. Simple, modest by billionaire standards, rich beyond measure by the standards that mattered. His phone buzzed. A news alert. Chen Global Industries reports. Record profits under new leadership. Robert smiled and turned off his phone. That was someone else's concern now. Someone else's empire. His empire was in the next room, probably staying up past bedtime reading about adaptive athletics. His empire had a heartbeat and a laugh and dreams and fears and a future full of possibility. And he would never, ever miss another moment of it. If this story moved you, we need you to do something right now, like this video. If you believe time is more valuable than money, comment and answer this. When was the last time you chose presence over productivity? When was the last time you put down your phone and truly saw someone you love? Share your story. This is your reminder. Subscribe to this channel if you want more stories that remind you what actually matters in life. Share this video with someone who's drowning in work. Someone who keeps saying, "I'll spend time with my family when things slow down." Send it now. Things never slow down. Life doesn't wait.